Hello everyone. So I cheated a bit in my talk title. Putting Django and modern JavaScript together is always very funny, but yeah, I started to wonder a bit about how to do stuff that was looking obvious in the JavaScript world, in the Python world, and so I tried to integrate it in Django, and I want to show it today and hear what you think about it. And that doesn't work. Okay. No? Okay. So ça marche pas, ça. So I'm Romain Dorgueil. I'm working in a company called Makersquad. I founded a few months ago. Our goal is to build products and infrastructure for clients, also for ourselves. We build things quite quick. We usually release in the first week and try to be market ready in like 4, 5, 6 weeks. And so we need some tools to go very fast, and we choose to use Django for most of our tools when it's possible. And we often need some JavaScript in the front end, and sometimes it was a bit of a pain. So I will show how we did it at first using Django. Then I will explore a bit what exists in the Node world to understand where we are and where we may want to go. And I'll propose some solution, and you'll tell me what you think about it. So I'll demo at the end. Here I will just show it, and if you never did it, just trust me. If you don't trust me, try it after. So you create a Django project using Django admin, start project PyParis, you go into it, you can run a dev server, and yeah, you have a hello world page, pretty easy. And then, yeah, maybe you want to add some dev tools, so you add Django debug toolbar, Django extensions, you install the applications in Django, blah, blah, and yeah, and so, yeah, I don't have the capture, but you have a nice tooling with that. And at some point, you say, okay, I need to add some JavaScript to that. So how would you do that? Well, one way to do it manually, and it's a bit painful, but you should try it at home if you never did it, is maybe using something like Webpack, or I know there is something called Rollup also you could try, but you can use Webpack. And so you will initialize a Node package within your Python package using npm init. You will install Webpack, Webpack CLI. You will create some JavaScript file that does not a lot here, just a console.log. And you run Webpack, and you have like the same console.log with a big overhead around, which does not do a lot, but if you have a big file, it's not very bad to have this. Then maybe you need Django to be able to read from this output directory, so you add it to the static files dirs in the settings of Django. You run Webpack again with some options to tell the public path in web, so /static for Django by default. And yeah, so once again, when you run your dev server, it works. You can load the file. You can just add the static tag from Django, and yeah, that works. But then you say, oh, all the JavaScript world seems to have new syntaxes, new things like dynamic imports that takes a callback and that will load asynchronously some library and react to that. They have new arrow functions that were not existing not quite long ago. They have new operators that were not existing neither. They have the star, like I guess in Python too. So this, now it works in modern browsers, but some mobile browsers doesn't support that. It's not doing much more. It's just doing a console log, but with all fancy syntaxes here. And yeah, you can still Webpack it. So you get a lot more because that's Lodash mostly. And you get two files because you have this asynchronous load of the second one. But yeah, Webpack still works the same way with the same command. But this code won't work in all browsers. It will work on all major browsers. I didn't try in Edge, but now the arrow functions and things like this work in Chrome, in Safari, in Firefox. But some mobile browser doesn't support it. So probably you need to transpile. It's a concept in JavaScript to say I will transform one language version into another. So you may need to use some tools like Babel to transpile some version of JavaScript into an older version of JavaScript that is more widely supported. Now you can't use Webpack without configuration anymore, so you need to install some dependencies, Babel loader, Babel core, preset env, etc. And you need to create a configuration file where you copy paste some ugly code like this. And it's not so ugly because there is only one, but if you do the same for CSS and stuff like this, you will get quite a big list of that. But then it doesn't work anymore because the dynamic import is not supported by default, so you need to add a plugin to Babel in a new file, Babel RC. You may need also to add some browser support expected that instructs Babel what the target language should use and not use. That's pretty cool, by the way. And yeah, it works again. That was just to have the JavaScript working. Now, let's say I have a company building products in a few weeks, and I want to start a new project every few weeks. I can't invest like this amount of time to build every new project. I need to do some better way to do it because it's just a waste of time, in my opinion. And yeah, the time to production is awful. I need few days to get an empty project. That's not acceptable. My cost of ownership of this is awful also. If I need to upgrade one software, I need to go through all the project, and I will make mistake because I'm just human, and yeah, and that takes time. Training people is also awful. If I train either the teams of my clients or either the people I hire, like there is the three dots here are the most important part, but there is a lot of different tools in different languages, and all those tools are very complicated. The simplest ones are mostly Python and maybe Django. And I can't reuse that because if I start to code in this project, then, well, I can't copy paste anymore because I will add dependencies and stuff. Yeah, it's hard to maintain. So I'm not happy with this state. And because of that, I went to see, but how are they doing that in Node.js? Maybe they have better solutions. And indeed they have. Indeed they have. So the Node.js world looks a bit like this, even more than Python, mostly because they have a lot of different targets. They are using the same, basically the same language, very much, a lot of different variations of the same language, but the same language to build server-side applications with things like Express and Koa, which are more or less like Flask, synchronous, asynchronous, but more or less like Flask. There is client-side JavaScript that builds user interface like React, Vue, Angular, name yours, there is a lot. But they also target native applications, mobile applications, so they can, with React Native or Cordova and maybe others, you can build directly things that runs on a phone natively. And there is also Electron to build desktop applications. And the craziest persons, of course, build universal applications that have one code base, and the little differences just targeting different applications. So one code base and mobile, web, front, they do that. And what's the dev experience? So maybe a lot of you tried that, but I just want to show what it is to create and run an application here. So basically, they have some. I will do it in React, but all the tools I showed before have pretty much the same experience. I can do something like, so yarn is like npm, or maybe I should like zoom. Is it better? No, not really. Well, I still need a bit of space on my screen. So you can just, and I didn't download it before, and so it will download it, so, but I can say yarn creates React app. Let's call it PyParis.js. And yeah, so of course I download the whole earth of dependencies. It creates a small directory of that. I download it again just in case. I have a little tree. And okay, and that's done. So I can open that, run yarn start, and so it opens. First time it needs to compile the assets. It's a bit longer. I will wait a bit, maybe I can, okay. And I have an application running, so let's just see if I like run an editor here. And like, so let's open that. There is a bit, some files here. And out of the box, I can like just change something here. Oops, maybe not this one. And I have like the live reload. It's called hot module reload in the background, but I can say, okay, the logo should be bigger. I could take just a JavaScript file and say, okay, let's say hello PyParis. And everything is just running without, oh, my logo is too big now, without even needing refresh. If I like make a syntax error, I think that's one. I have all the Sactras here, so I think it's pretty nice experience compared to, it's not at all what I wanted to do, compared to what we had before. Where is the, oh, okay. So that's basically what I seen in the Node world. But so what can we learn from that, and how can we improve the current state of the Python front-end versus back-end stuff we have? I think there is a problem. Maybe that's not for everybody. If you're doing only back-end stuff, it's not really a problem. But well, the biggest issue I found is that we need to manage, we need to have two different package management systems working nice together. And that sounds like maybe if I just version my requirements.txt and my package.json files, that's good enough. But that's true if it's the project you're directly working on. If you want to have a dependency that contains both JavaScript and Python, it starts to be really complicated. I know there is some other solutions in things like Jupyter Lab, where they package separately the Node package and the Python package, and then they reconcile everything. But it's really hard because it's multiplying. The combinations of possibilities is like huge. What I propose, it's just a proposal, and I have a little implementation running, even in production, some on different projects. But my proposition is to bundle not bundle the JavaScript in the Python eggs, but to bundle the dependencies, the JavaScript dependencies within a Python egg. And I guess it's pretty much my last slide, and I will just show what it is. It's a work in progress. I really want your opinion on all this, but I think it's pretty cool. So I installed it locally because I have the development version, but it's also pushed on GitHub. And so I can say Django 0 create project. Let's say PyParis Py, which is, okay, my screen is too big. So can everybody read still? Yeah? Okay. So there is a few more steps for now. Maybe in the future it can be improved. It's why I really need your help. I can run this install. That could be bundled with the create project. Once again, I also can download the whole earth of dependencies. Maybe it's not required, but I can run the Django migrations. And now I have a Django project that doesn't open automatically the browser, but I have a Django project running with already some things that are unrelated to JavaScript, like the debug toolbar and other stuff like this. But if I read the source code, I can see somewhere, I don't know, that's the debug toolbar. It adds a lot of different things, blah, blah, blah. For example, this one, we'll see that it's not just Twitter Bootstrap, it's Twitter Bootstrap compiled with Webpack. So somehow Webpack run on this file. And to show that, I will create a Django application and add some modern JavaScript in that. So let's say Django 0 create app. Let's call it hello. OK, I need to add apps.hello to my settings. So let's open another. Let's open another thing. So the directory structure is maybe you can see this part, but this should be good. So I can add this to installed apps. Probably I will need to add some URL here. So I'll say from Django. If you see a mistake, you can shout so I don't make it. So path include, I will say, OK, path include apps.hello.urls. So if I run it again, that should at least provide this application. Let's close that, close that. That's not true. That was not expected. This one is interesting. It's why you should not do live demos, but probably I.
You have to save settings.
Sorry?
Settings is not saved.
Oh, thank you. It's why it's great to have an audience that's better than you at Django. So you have this thing, but this template is not interesting. It's the default, so I will just delete everything. And my goal now is to have this resource assets hello.js to work, and at some point to have some live reload. So what I will do is change a bit the webpack.js configuration to add something here. So I will change acme into hello. I don't know where my cursor is. So that's the Webpack configuration, but it's mostly generated by some packaged into Django 0. There is some JavaScript that helps you generate all the bases. And what did I forget? Yeah, maybe I should change this template. So I will delete everything. I will create a new file with some div.container here containing hello, PyParis. I need also to include the JavaScripts and style sheets, so I will say get JavaScripts of hello, which is the name I define in my Webpack configuration. I'll do the same here. Style sheets. I can type apparently. Okay, and now I will run it again, but a bit differently. I will add some flag, which may be by default in the future. Oh, and for now I need to install manually this thing. No, I don't want to do whatever. And now I can run it a bit differently, and what will happen is, there's a bunch of errors, but don't worry about that. What happens is now, okay, I have hello PyParis, and I can basically go to this hello.js, even the hello.css, and I will first add import Bootstrap, which is pre-installed, so Bootstrap, SCSS, Bootstrap. When I save, I should see maybe the typo changing, and the container, which is a bit more constrained. And to make it more obvious, I will say .container, I don't know, background color, green, when I save. Or green is not cool, so I will say yellow. And basically, I have an approaching, not really the same good experience that the Facebook team can create with the Create React app and stuff like this, but we have an approaching thing that use the Webpack the right way and use the hot-moded reload just working like that. So that's the end of my demo. It's not really a lot, but it's just to prove to show my point. I think that we often keep our eyes just focused on something we like. I love Python. I love Python 3, and I often do a lot of things in Python. But in fact, there is a lot happening out there, and we should really, I think, look at it and try to find ways to use the good ideas from other ecosystems. For now, it's really a proof of concept. I'm using it because it saved me a lot of time in the Webpack configuration mostly. But if you're interested, or if you may have use case, let's talk about it. And by the way, it also adds a few more things by default. Not all by default. Some are optional, like salary is only opt-in. But most applications we develop needs user authentication, so we added Allot, we added a testing framework here, we added a front-end server, etc., etc. You can find a bit of documentation. My apologies for the state of this, but there is a bit of documentation that should be way enough to get started. And of course, I'm really wondering what you could think about it and what you could do about with that and the ideas we would have. So yeah, if we have 10 seconds for questions according to the timer. let's have one in 10 seconds, but after that we can talk and just send me an email or ping me on Twitter and say, yeah, that's stupid, that's amazing, or whatever, and I have this idea, and let's do that. Thank you very much.